Welcome back to Hear Me Out. I'm Dee,
I'm E.
and this is a very delayed, we know, recap of part two, season 4 of Emily in Paris. So we've already told you guys in some other videos that this year, particularly since the summer, it's been a roller coaster for us. So bear with us. We are trying to get back into things. Who knows? There might be another roller coaster we have to get on. But for now, here we are, and we're gonna talk about another roller coaster that Emily never seems to get off of. So,
Yeah, guys.
what
Sorry.
what happened with our favorite American in Paris?
Like Dee said, sorry, we're tardy for the party. But you guys want to hear what we have to say anyways. So maybe this will inspire you to go watch Emily again. I wouldn't though, because she's rocking my nerves lately. But Marcello is something to see, a sight to see. So,
Mhm.
mes amis, I'm reading an article from Cosmopolitan by Jasmine Ting. The title is Emily in Paris Season 4 Part Two's Ending Explained. Buongiorno! Where are we? Write it in the comments. I know you already, but play along, okay? Buongiorno. Netflix might have to change Emily in Paris's name. And if you've already caught up and seen the last batch of episodes since season 4 dropped part 2, then you know that because it sure looks like our girl might be moving to Rome. Who's happy?
I
I
am.
am. As shown in the preview at the end of Emily in Paris season 4 part 1, Mademoiselle Cooper. How do you say? I know, intermission. I was watching what's his name? The other guy in the love triangle?
Alfie.
Alfie. And there was like this montage of him saying Cooper, and I can't say it the way he says it. He says
Koopa.
Cooper. Cooper. I
Koopa.
was trying and I failed, guys. That was the whole. So Mademoiselle Cooper no longer finds herself in a love triangle, but rather a love square. And this new romance has led her right to Italy. Will our protagonist find her happily ever after in the city of history, pasta, and the Lizzie McGuire movie? How does Emily in Paris season 4 part 2 end? Have no fear because our recap of the season finale is here. So, we're going to break it down into sections, and of course, then we're going to give you our opinions about it. So, this section, we're talking about Emily and Gabriel are yet again broken up. Can't say we didn't already see this coming, and the fake baby with Camille creating some tension in their relationship. A Christmas skiing trip with Camille's family becomes a tipping point. Emily unofficially ends things with Gabriel right at the top of the mountain after he neglects to save her from a near death experience. He was too busy catering to Camille's needs. Things officially end between them, at least for the season, when Gabriel airs his grievances about having to speak English around Emily all the time, and it's clear they're having a communication breakdown. We're going to talk about this too. So the next section is Genevieve enters the villa. A hot new single makes waves in the show. Genevieve is Sylvie's stepdaughter to her husband from a previous relationship. When Genevieve struggles to find work in Paris, Sylvie employs her and assigns her as Emily's new protege. At first, the two were getting along swimmingly, but then Emily suspects Genevieve wants to take over her life and her career, and this includes going after Gabriel. So, those are the first two parts before she finds a man or encounters another man. What do we think about Emily and that whole triangle? I guess we'll talk about Alfie later and Genevieve's introduction.
Um, I honestly have not liked Gabrielle for a couple seasons now. But that scene where he tells her in French what his issue is, I felt so bad for him in that moment. Like that felt like a very real, like genuine sort of thing. I mean, I feel like it reminds me of how things can go wrong in a relationship when there's no communication, and even worse when there's a language barrier. So I felt so badly for him. I know, I know, but like maybe it's because he said it in French, and it was just like, oh, the emotion.
Focus.
but but when Emily said, I don't understand you, or I don't understand what you're saying, and he was just basically like, exactly, it just reiterated to me how very little they've both tried. Um he could have told her from a long time ago these communication issues, and she could have done more on her part to also make an effort, because she's an expat. She's in this other city. We saw that one season where Alfie was introduced, that she was learning French and all that. There hasn't been much progress since then. The girl still says bonjour like hard R. It's like there's just things that to me clearly have not developed properly. And it's one of the issues that we had with part one, because it's like, here we are with the same thing, and I feel like Emily doesn't even need to be in the show anymore. The side characters are better. So when that little blow up happened, I think it was just like, yeah, I mean, I'm tired of both of y'all. Neither one of you is doing the work. It just, like, I feel like if things had gone their way in season one and they had gotten together, then maybe they could have built up towards getting to a place where they could communicate in either language. But they didn't, and it's just been like one sideshow after another of like different reasons why they haven't gotten together, and them getting together was anticlimactic for me. And so seeing them break up, I wasn't heartbroken because they were breaking up. It was the overall sentiment of the reasons behind it that made it sad for me. That's why, like, I just felt bad, because I was like, dang, that's rough. That's gotta be rough in any real life relationship. Not being able to communicate, but more so not being able to do so because of language barrier. But anyway, Genevieve, I ain't like that girl from day one. Day one, scene one, episode, whatever. I ain't like her. I still don't like her. And that's it. That's all I got for her. She's not even worthy of much more. But what did you think?
Oh, well, I have to disagree with you about both.
Shocker.
Because, shocker, because Gabriel already knew Homegirl could not speak French. So now we're like, let's say 3 years in here. Who knows how long it really is in the Emily in Paris world. Now he wants to get mad at me because I don't know French. S'il vous plaît. Okay? That doesn't even make sense. If anything, Emily, yeah, she should have been trying to learn French. She's not even trying at this point because Sylvie has just allowed it, but it's making Sylvie some money. The way
Mhm.
Emily is just fine. She communicates with everybody the same way. They all know English. And I'm not saying it to sound like an entitled American because I know that's what a lot of people think. I'm saying it so I'm saying it to make the point that they can communicate. That's just not his preference or that's not his first language. But that's how he met Emily. Did he ever talk about or talk to Emily and say, "Hey, can you learn some French? I feel like more comfortable with it." No, they both have had communication issues. They both have put Cami in this triangle of, oh no, you can have him, no, but we shouldn't, and then no, but while we're having a baby and we're gonna get married, no, but I love you, no, I love. So they're all a disaster. But us feeling bad for Gabriel for his communication issues with Emily because she doesn't talk English, I think that's unacceptable. He knew what he was getting into. If he wanted somebody who spoke French so bad, then he should have stuck with Cami.
I get what you're saying, but that's literally why he did stick with Kami. He did stick with her. Seasons 1, 2, and 3. He stuck with her.
So
But
now what do we have? A failed fake marriage and a fake baby.
But my thing is, I don't think we're too far off from basically saying the same thing. I
Mm-hmm.
agree they both should have talked about this. They both should have, put in the work and did the effort. Completely agree. But in that moment, that one scene, the sentiment is
Mm-hmm.
what made me actually, like, it evoked enough of a sympathy moment for him, because in a lot of ways, right, the show is Emily in Paris. It is centered around her. This is her life, blah blah blah. Yes, everybody talks to her in English. I think that's a courtesy. With the exception
Yeah.
of her best friend, everyone else will speak in French. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
else, when she's not around, and I'm glad that they're doing it more now, will be speaking in French to one another.
Yeah.
And so I think the real villain is still Emily here.
No way, Jose.
She's
No,
not
no,
she's
no.
not native. She's not the native person here. And
True.
so I think they're she's so self-absorbed that
Uh-huh.
she couldn't see that the reasons why Gabrielle kept going back to Kami wasn't necessarily that he was still in love with her or anything like that. It was more so the comfort level. It was more so the fact that he could carry on a conversation in his native land. It's not like it's not like he moved to America and he needed to learn English, and so what, no, this is more on her. I'm not saying in any way that he was this great guy and she missed out. No, I didn't like him for a while. But what I'm saying is, in that moment, that sentiment, it makes perfect sense that, like, it's what breaks him, this person that he seems to love, supposedly. He can't have a relationship of his true self because his true self is a French man, but
Mm-hmm.
he cannot have that. And I think that's why he continuously went back to Kami, because Kami could give him that, and why Kami kept, you know, basically being that woman for him, because she knew that's what he needed. Like, she knew all along, she knew what it is that he had wanted. The reason he chose Kami at the top of that mountain was not because of, like, his love for her, but it's because it's Kami, something could happen to her, my child, da 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 da. Like, there was more of a sentiment from his part of, like, you know, this is his world too. It's not just Emily's world. It's not just whatever she wants. And I think the fact that everyone has spent so much time bending over backwards for her, trying to speak English for her, trying to accommodate her, like, she's an entitled American. And this is why people think we're entitled Americans whenever we're abroad.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree because him popping off on Emily and saying all these things in French to her and she doesn't understand. Great, it could be her fault. She could have tried harder. But at the same time, how can you not feel bad for Emily because that's a situation that she cannot fix? I
She
felt bad for
can.
her. What, by
But
learning French and it's going to take her like 10 years to learn it?
but that's the thing. And the whole purpose of her moving to Paris was for her career. It
Hmm.
was for a job. It wasn't for a man. So I would have thought, because of her job, her career, she would have tried to learn French from day one. I would have been on that plane reading through all my translations, because I don't remember all of the French that I learned in high school. But Emily, instead, being the entitled American, and this is why so many of the women here love her in America, being the entitled American that she is, went up into this land and said, oh, y'all are gonna accommodate me, y'all are gonna speak my language.
Je ne comprends pas.
Oh, okay, sure, sure.
All
So it's
right.
hard for me to really feel bad for her
Okay.
in that instance, because she's not putting in the effort. She hasn't.
Yeah.
She has not put in the effort. Like, if she had continued those French classes and it still was just not sticking. Obviously, learning another language when you're older is hard. We know that. Um, and if she had been still trying, but it just wasn't sticking, I would understand that. But she does not make an effort. I don't feel bad for her. I think that's part of why she, like, ended up with Alfie for as long as she did, is because at least he spoke English all the time.
Guys, let us know what you think in the comments. Clearly, you guys are witnessing D and E disagree. But we'll continue. All right, so now Emily finds a new man. When Gabriel failed to save Emily up in the slopes, a mysterious, debonair, drop dead gorgeous Italian man. Let's have a moment of silent meditation. Italian man named Marcello Muratori. Woo, I need to learn Italian now. Swoops into the rescue. Emily thinks this is a one-off encounter, but then he shows up again at a polo tournament. They hit it off, and then he even invites Emily to go to Rome on a holiday, aka a vacation.
Mm-hmm.
So while still in Paris, Emily shows Marcello around town, but later he ghosts her. This doesn't stop Emily as she takes matters into her own hands. She takes her PTO, okay, for the first time since she landed in Paris and flies to Rome in search of her new love interest. She promises him that it'll all be for pleasure and not for work. What do we think about Emily jetting off?
Typical American. I
Oh
mean,
my gosh! This is what we're gonna get all day from you?
and I finish.
Go ahead.
What I meant to say was, we in America have this very, very convoluted idea of taking time off of work. And the fact that she'd been there all that time and had never really taken time off of work is a typical American thing to do. Was I glad she took off to Rome? Yes, of course. Girl, take your days. Take your time. I've adopted, or I'm trying to adopt, a more European outlook on vacation, and I'm going to take my days when I can take them, not 2 years from now. Anyway, so I was glad she jetted off to Rome. Marcello, he's a cutie.
Patootie.
Um, I think that, you know, we watched this show with like a very low expectation. Like, it's one of those kind of shows where you're not really like being in deep thought. Yeah. It's just like, oh, he's cute. Okay, let's see where this goes. Yes, let's go off to Rome. Yes, go ahead and love bomb me. It's okay. But it's weird. Like, if we actually take a look at the reality of things,
Mm-hmm.
you're telling me that if a strange man that you've never met in your life all of a sudden appears somewhere else in another city, another country that you're at, starts to love bomb you within minutes of being reintroduced to you because he didn't actually get to know you at the top of the mountain, and then all of a sudden he wants to like get you to go to his town, his city in another country, and that's normal, you know? The
Why
fantasy I love. The fantasy I love. But it is that, it's a fantasy. So I'm concerned as
Whoa!
to I'm concerned as to when the other shoe will drop, because it just seems too good to be true, and she does not seem to have the best of luck making the right love choices or decisions. But when she was in Rome, I love Rome. I cannot wait to go back one day. That's really what I thought of. I was like, man,
Right?
when can I go back? Anyway, what did you think of Marcello and Rome? Jetting off to
It's
Rome.
been 10 years since we've been to Rome.
Yeah, almost.
That's crazy. I know. I can't wait to go back. What did I think about Marcello? He could love bomb me all he wants. Sure. I've been known to do crazier things. We're not going to talk about it here, though. But yeah, my girl Emily, she doesn't have too much luck in the love department. But maybe Marcello is different. I do want to say Emily just finds, for the most part, like if we want to envision a man of interest, a good quality man. Gabriel's over there being a French chef, gonna be a Michelin star chef,
Mm.
sexy. Then you have this British entrepreneur,
In
his
finance.
his in finance, his fine self,
Mm.
delicious.
Yeah.
Now we have Marcello Muratori in
Mhm.
fashion, loves his family and community, plays
True
polo,
Italian.
true Italian, knows how to ski, then has that Italian attitude.
Yeah.
Magnifique. I can't think of the word in in Italian right now.
Magnifico.
Magnifico. There you go. Magnifico. This girl is lucky as hell. Like, how many life life jackets is God gonna give her? Like, come on.
Oh.
Just clowning around, guys. Um, but even though Emily took her PTO, there goes Sylvie. Next topic. She sabotages Emily's budding romance. So it turns out Sylvie is kind of at fault for Marcello's ghosting. While the couple was still in Paris, she ambushes them because Marcello is the heir to an Italian fashion company. She knows Marcello's family is considering JVMA to run their company's marketing, but Sylvie wants to persuade him to go to Agence Gratteau instead. All of this overwhelms Marcello, which is why he ultimately ghosts Emily. Later on, Sylvie goes as far as to fly to Rome herself. And while Emily initially doesn't want to get involved, she winds up weighing in with her opinion. He gets upset by this and says, I see you over here, and says that inviting her to Rome was a big mistake, but Marcello's mom listens to Emily's arguments in favor of Agence Gratteau and decides to give the agency a shot. What do we think?
Red flag.
Oh my gosh.
He
Living
ghosted
the
her.
moment, huh?
He ghosted her. He got the girl to come to a whole other country she'd never been in, to a whole nother city she'd
Mhm.
never been in, and then he ghosted her without having a real conversation about what had happened. Again, she makes terrible love decisions. He may be, you know, cute, good looking, Italian, loving, loves the family, whatever. Yes, all of that. But that's a red flag. If you can't have a conversation with this person that you pursued and just say, hey, what is up with all of this? Instead, you decide to just like leave her there stranded. I mean, then like, what if Emily had just decided, okay, I'm going back to Paris and that's that? You know, it's like, so then this girl that you had been pursuing, you just let her go just like that? Like, it's weird, you know? And as we'll see, because of what his mom said, he ends up, you know, talking to her again, but it's like it just doesn't feel right. I think in the moment as you're watching it, because again, this is a very like low impact kind of show. As you're watching, you're just like, no, don't, like, y'all keep together, get back together. But you know, that's the feeling, the vibe you get. But the more removed you're from it, it's like, what? This isn't normal. Like, why don't you just
Mhm.
talk to the girl? Or why didn't you just stick around and like listen to what the boss had to say when she just decided to insert herself into Emily's life like that? Which I'm not happy about them doing that with Sylvie. That is not true to who Sylvie is.
Yeah.
Um, because she's one of my favorite characters, if not my favorite. And so for them to kind of like shift her into this, I don't know, older version of Emily, I didn't like it. I
Mhm.
don't know. What
Mhm.
did you think?
You know what the problem is? You're watching this with your adult eyes.
I
And
am.
I just realized it and I'm like, he is so right. There's so many red flags. But I'm watching it with my fantasy eyes. I'd be like, no, together, reconcile happily ever after. But okay,
Yeah.
fine. You're right on this one. You know, he was acting like an immature little brat. He's still
Yeah.
fine though. And I
Yeah.
agree with you with the whole Sylvie situation. She's usually not that pushy like that. But
Yeah.
I don't know if it's with the whole thing she has going on with the father, Nico's father, at
Oh,
JDMA, and then she's trying to take business away. I don't know
yeah,
if they want to make her seem like more forceful in that nature, like taking
yeah,
something away from them. But yeah, I kind of didn't like that she did that because she always reprimands Emily for business and personal and keeping it
hmm,
away, and then now it's like, oh, it's convenient.
yeah.
So I kind of didn't like that.
It didn't feel very true to who her character is. And even the
Yeah,
scene where she like reconnected with some direct Italian director, which I loved.
yeah.
Um, and she decided to like leave him to go and work. I was like, girl, what? That's not the Sylvie I know and love. Like
Hmm.
Sylvie would have wasted the entire day just and it wouldn't have been a waste. Being with that man in bed the whole day. I'm just saying. Like,
I know. I just love that scene because I think it was then that she says, "Oh, I just want to stay in bed and
hmm.
make love, have pasta, and something." So I'm like, "Oh, that sounds like a magnificent way to spend the day." And then she gets a
Exactly.
phone call from Emily. I'm like, "Of course." And dream.
Yeah,
What can we do?
yeah.
All right,
Killed.
guys, we're almost done. So Mindy heads to Shanghai. Sylvie is not the only one rushing to Rome between her breakup with Nico due to her complicated relationship with Benoit and getting disqualified from Eurovision. Mindy is in desperate need of a vacation. She joins her bestie Emily in Italy to run away from her problems. Mindy decides to let loose and performs her original song in the streets of Rome. This makes the girl go viral on TikTok and lands her next gig, an invite from a show called Chinese Pop Star to perform and become a judge.
I love that for her.
Me too.
Yeah.
Next, Gabriel gets his Michelin star. So while Emily is off in Rome, Gabriel gets news that he's able to get his restaurant a Michelin star. Genevieve, your favorite person in the whole wide world, is the one who breaks the good news to him, and she goes in for a kiss. Dot dot dot. But the
Mm.
chef sets boundaries and says he'd rather be friends. Later, he calls Emily and leaves a voice message telling her about the star and expressing how grateful he is for her. What do we think?
Um, so I'm not sure what the criteria necessarily is when it comes to Michelin or how long they decide, a business needs to be open before they grant or bestow a Michelin star. But Gabriel has had his restaurant for 2 days. And it just feels like, what? What? Anyway,
Yeah,
I digress. Um, him calling Emily after he sets the boundaries with the wannabe doppelganger over there. Um, she I'm glad that he did that, but I
yeah.
feel like they've never really had like a real villain on the show, and I feel like they're gonna try to keep her.
It's
But
refreshing though.
in some ways it was, but again, the show is low impact. It's fantasy, it's romance. I'm not trying to see like this, I was about to say HOE. This person come and like, disrupt things because once again, it's like this is another hurdle, another monkey wrench into this whole Gabrielle Emily situation.
Yeah.
It's like when that whole speech he gave Emily in French and the girl decides to go ahead and like basically tell Emily something that he didn't say. That whole situation to me was like, why couldn't she just go and ask Gabrielle, did you say you don't want nothing to do with me? Like, again, it's the communication that just gets to me because they're
Hmm.
very simple things that people just keep like overlooking. So her being the one to tell Gabrielle about the Michelin star, like that sucked. It shouldn't have been her. But the fact that he went and he called Emily, I mean, that makes sense. Um, but I just hate that they're still trying to make it where it's like Gabrielle and Emily endgame. Why? You're moving the girl to a whole other country. Granted, Italy's not that far from France, but you know what I mean. Like, why are you also introduced a new love interest?
Hmm.
Why do we keep going back to Gabrielle?
This
I get it.
article didn't talk about it, but what do we think about that interaction with Alfie and Emily?
It pissed. Oh, the one with Emily
Yeah, at
that
the
broke my heart.
I know that was deep.
First of all, if y'all have seen our other Emily stuff, you know that Alfie is my guy. Love him.
Koopa. There we go, Koopa.
Yeah. Love Alfie. I was very glad that he found someone
Me too.
and he's moved on from Emily. Until we get to the scene where he's telling Gabrielle, go after her, and insinuates in some ways that he blew it with Emily.
He
Like,
did though.
Alfie?
Yes, because he was always so spastic and always like so hot headed about everything. Like he would just storm off about things. Look at your face. He would just always storm off, in my opinion. And like Emily's always like chasing after him. Granted, Emily, she does her fair share of crap. But I feel like he was immature for some parts of that relationship. Am I happy that he moved on? Yes. I think he blew it because again, the communication. You want Gabriel or not? Just let me know. Stop keeping me like hanging around.
But he did ask her that. He was very forthcoming and forward with her.
Yeah, but then he broke it off with the hot air balloon stuff.
Because that was the most mature thing he could do. He knew that he himself was never going to be, or at least at that time, was not going to be 100% sure that there was nothing there. So if he had carried on with her, he
Hmm.
would have hurt her because of his own insecurities and his feelings. So he chose instead to do the mature thing, no matter how much it broke his own heart, and he walked away from her. Because in his mind, he knew deep down, no
Hmm.
matter what she was saying, no matter what Gabrielle was saying, there was something there. And what ended up happening? Months later, they got together. I think that was a very mature thing for Alfie to have done. I just didn't like for him to like push Gabrielle, go after her. We both lost a great woman. Boy, whatever.
You just don't like
I
Emily.
really
That's
don't.
what it is. I can
I really
tell.
don't. I
Yeah.
really don't.
So, how does this all end? Are we getting an Emily in Rome? In the end, Emily makes amends with Marcello while she has to bid him adieu for now as she heads back to Paris. The show teases that she'll be back. Sylvie is able to secure the Muratori account, and the team is therefore temporarily relocating to Rome. This is great news for everyone except Gabrielle, who decides he wants to win Emily back. Even Alfie tells him to go after her. So, what happens next? Has Gabriel already lost his chance? Will the next season be called Emily in Rome? I guess we'll have to wait and figure it out.
Um, yeah, why not? Emily in Rome. I
I'm
think that,
happy with a change of scene. Like I think I'm never tired of Paris, but I'm kind of tired of Paris. It's just giving Gabriel, it's giving Kami and that whole situation.
yeah,
Everybody's just pea footing. Just insert. I hope you guys know what I mean. That's what everybody is doing
yeah,
in that show. It's like, no, you go, you get the ice cream. No, you get the ice cream. No, you deserve the ice cream more. No, you know what? I'm gonna keep the ice cream, but I want to share. Nobody is like. I just feel like the pleasantries are annoying me
yeah, yeah,
with the show, and especially that whole Kami Emily situation. No, you keep him. No, I'll keep him. No, it's better for your family, and I don't know that whole shenanigan that they had going on.
yeah.
So I think Emily needs to rebrand to Rome.
Mm-hmm.
It gives us a worldview of different things.
Yeah.
And we just need Emily to travel everywhere. Emily in Athens. Find a love interest over there. She could be young Sylvie in the making.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
that's.
we understand Sylvie to be, and we love her, like this powerful woman, self-assured,
Mhm.
fashionista, businesswoman who loves and does things her way. Well, this is Emily, maybe growing into a Sylvie. And what better way to travel the world and love interests and different experiences by taking us along to different countries?
I like that. I would watch that.
I
And
mean, what other way would this show continue? I think we're all bored of Emily in Paris. Alfie's not there no more. We're tired of Gabriel. I think Kami left to adopt somebody,
Mhm.
to adopt a kid. What else
Yeah.
do we have? We need spin-offs for Sylvie. We
Hmm.
need spin-offs for the other two guys that work at the Agence Gratteau,
Luke,
Luke and the other one.
Julien.
We need a spin-off with them. We need a spin-off with Mindy because
Mhm.
she's batshit crazy. I love her to pieces.
I love Mindy. Yeah.
All the side characters need their sideshows.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind that. That'd be cool.
Final thoughts?
I mean, I'm glad that they're doing a reset. I think this part two was much better than what we'd seen in the last season and a half.
Sure.
So I think it's a good thing that they're doing that now. Because it's going to help people actually look forward to the next season versus just expecting some of the same stuff. I hope they find a way to make Alfie come back because I love Alfie so much and I hate that they are taking him out if that's what they're doing. I hope they find a way for him. Or if not, just go ahead and recast the Duke and Bridgerton and make him the Duke.
And you know who else we need more of? What's that fine guy that works with Alfie?
Antoine?
We need some more Antoine, please, Lord. Do this for me. We need some more Antoine because let me tell you.
We're,
Yep,
we're done.
we're done. Oh, yeah, I was gonna go.
Uh-huh.
So guys, let us know what you think in the comments about Emily in Paris, potentially Emily in Rome. Are we tired of Emily and Gabriel and their shenanigans? Are we happy that Kami potentially left? Do you want Alfie back? What did you think about that interaction between Alfie and Emily, and Alfie finally telling Emily that he moved on? What do we think about Sylvie disrupting the faux honeymoon that
Hmm.
Emily had with Marcello? Is that very Sylvie of her? What do we think about Marcello Muratori? Isn't that fine man a fine man? Could he have been more mature? Or is he like red flag central? Let us know in the comments. But
Mhm.
that concludes today's episode. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Also, please share our video. We're trying to grow our community so your friends could be our friends and we can all be friends. We also have social media, which Dee will tell you about.
We're on TikTok and Instagram. Hear me out, DNE. So make sure you guys like, follow, share, and comment. You can also watch our videos in podcast format on YouTube Music.
All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.
Bye.